What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios for a redemption week for building Coruscant in Lego. I was sick last week and I felt like I just didn't put out a very good update. I didn't get a lot of good progress that I felt like moved the whole series forward. I just kind of piddled around here and there, which makes sense. And the video itself did not do very well, so I'm very motivated this week to put out a high energy, solid update that gives some great progress and really moves this whole mock forward towards the finish line. So in the spirit of finishing, I'm going to be putting in the final shop in the first side of the entertainment complex, which will allow me to get a bunch of permanent progress done up above it. And on the bank side of things, I made a very bold claim last week saying that I was going to finish out the interior minus stuff I don't have parts for. So if I want to hold good to that, I've got a lot of work to do. All that being said, I hope you guys are excited, and don't forget to execute Order 66 on that like button, and let's get building. I didn't get to it last week. I'm going to start by adding in the last shop on this side. I thought of the perfect one too, a green milk stand. That way, if blue milk isn't powerful enough for you, you still got a good option. The shop itself will look very similar to the others, and I'm really excited to put this in because now I can put the second story floor back in for good and work towards finishing this entire first half. I also got the railing pieces in for the stairs, so those are going to go on next. I realized I accidentally made all of the steps 3 plates tall, so the minifigures are going to have to high step it pretty seriously to get up them. I'm so tired of this section looking incomplete, but I'm also out of light bluish gray bricks, so I made an executive decision and scavenged some bricks off of the armory building and the clone base. This will really help the mock as a whole because this single wall is holding up a lot of progress for this entire second story. And now I can add in the floors, chairs, glass roof, and step that connects it to the doorway arch. All right, let's take a look at the entertainment complex. So first thing is the little green milk stand. I did change the countertop to be a different color than the blue milk one because I wanted it to be kind of like these were competing stands, you know, green milk, blue milk, and so I wanted them to have slightly different colors, but the rest of the build is the same. You guys can see I added little signs up above the shops, and I did this because I thought it'd be a fun way to represent what each shop sells without having to add some kind of sign. However, I don't have one for this guy yet because the way I went about doing this was got a green headlight brick and then a brick with a hole in it, and that allowed me to just, pop it in place. Same with the blue one, and then the pizza one is connected to a headlight brick. But this guy sells some kind of like water or liquid drink, and so I'm still not sure how I'm going to connect that to the wall. I did also add another TV in right here, which caps off this middle section because I don't really have much room to put anything else. I am so happy to have up here done because, like I said, it was holding back a ton of progress. I also got the glass roof in. I was able to run the entire length of this wall because this corner is actually going to be a fixed piece because obviously there was no way to stick a row of glass roofs running this way and this way, so this little corner is going to be a solid build. But it's crazy how just a couple of simple light bluish gray walls can really transform this section and make it look so much more complete. Also, if you guys have any suggestions for what artwork I should put on the walls, let me know down below in the comments. The finished stair railings look pretty good. It's nothing you haven't already seen before, except for this little one right here. I wasn't sure how exactly I wanted to make this, so I ended up just putting a bunch of random pieces together to create some kind of bar or railing. Who knows, I may end up swapping it out, but honestly I think it looks pretty good for now. I did run into an issue though regarding the railings of the stairs and basically the railings of the entire entertainment complex. Without realizing it, I built 2 different colors of railing. So the first one is right here. It's got a light bluish gray top and bottom with a dark bluish gray cylinder in between, and then you can see up here these railings running across the entire length of the second story are entirely light bluish gray. I know, small little nitpicky detail, but I feel like I should probably pick one or the other, and I kind of think light bluish gray looks better just because it adds a little bit more of a contrast to the dark bluish gray floor. But I also don't want to have too much light bluish gray because the walls are also all light bluish gray. So I'm kind of thinking about adding the dark bluish gray just to add a little bit more color. Plus, I don't want to swap out all of these because the stair railing is already kind of flimsy, and so that would be a pain in the butt. Who knows? I may end up just having light bluish gray run across the top and then keep the ones on the stairs dark bluish gray because they do kind of match the pillars. That's everything I have to update you guys on in here. It's time to go tackle some more of the bank. In order to fulfill my bold claim to have the full interior of the bank done, minus what I don't have parts for, I need to tile off this last corner and get the walls up for the teller stations. Also, I decided this corner is going to be the office area. Lucky for me, I have all the parts for the floor, so tiling it off is going to be a piece of cake. I'm interested to see what this dark tan floor looks like compared to the rest of the mostly gray bank. Because the office area is so small, I'm just going to build one partition wall in the same style as the teller stations to create two small offices that are only big enough for a couple of chairs, a desk, and in one I have enough space for to add a cabinet into the wall. But I think that should be just enough to get the idea across of what this is. Unfortunately, I'm all out of little glass panels for the teller stations, but I can build the rest of the walls. I'm loving the simple but elegant design of this bank interior, with the muted yet contrasting colors of the dark tan and grays, as well as the statues and tree in the lobby area, and the masonry brick is just the icing on the cake for everything. Once again, I find myself with some exterior walls that had to be taken out, so I thought it would be a great time to go in and put some tile down at the base of them. The reason this has to happen before the wall is up is because it hangs out over the sidewalk almost one plate length, so once the wall is in, I can't slide any tile underneath it. And because the wall juts out so far, I need to make sure I don't have any studs too close to the wall that could pop it up off the ground. Plus, I may need to have this sidewalk tiled off for some future thumbnails or pictures. Okay, check out this interior. So, just as promised, I got all of the interior done that I could. I am missing some parts that go in there. I need the tiles in there, and to run along the top of this. But I got this tiled. Pretty much everything else is done, and I am loving the interior of this bank. So a couple of things I forgot to show you guys in the previous update. I ended up moving the tree to the middle, like a lot of people suggested, and it looks much better here. And then on either side, it is flanked by two statues. The only thing I don't like is how this statue is just facing the back of the bank, but I couldn't really think of a better way to position them. I think on either side might not look as good, so I think this looks as good as we're gonna get with the statues. I do really like how this one's facing the entrance like that. Another thing is what I swapped the tree out for, and that is a little fountain of water with a little statue dude at the top. It's just a little radar dish with a cylinder with a round brick underneath. Nothing too crazy there, but I think this looks much better. It fits the scale of this little room better. Oh, as I'm filming, I just realized I still need to do a couple of things, and that is add some single chairs in here. So I'm not done, but I will get that in before the update ends. But I wanted to get your guys' feedback. Should I use the sand green mini statue or the pearl gold one? I really like the sand green one. It pairs with the blue water very nicely, as well as the rest of the room, but the pearl gold matches the statues and the vibe of the rest of the bank better. So let me know which one of those you like better in the comments. Moving on to the office areas. Sorry, these areas are a little hard to show just because they're, tucked away in the corners and kind of dark. But there's the cabinet I was talking about. It doesn't open. I just felt like at least one of these offices needed something more than a desk. Maybe both of these mini offices share the cabinet or something. But everything else turned out really nicely. I really like the partition, and I purposely made it match the aesthetic and design of the rest of the bank, and it just creates two perfect little offices. The desks are a pretty simple design. You can see they're hollow on the inside, so you can slide your legs in there. A couple of little shield pieces on the sign to add some extra detail and just, little design flair. I will add some little things like papers or hollow pads or stuff on top of the desks as I get towards the end of the series. I'm still not sure if I'm going to keep this. The people waiting here would basically just be staring down these people and listening to their private business, so I don't know if I'm going to keep those or not, but I do think they look kind of cool. I did add a little armrest in between the two chairs. So that's pretty much everything I have to show you guys for the interior of the bank, but there's still one more thing I need to show you. I built this sweet Arabesh looking sign for the bank, basically like, I don't know, the name of the bank or something. And I purposely made it light bluish gray tile so that it would look like it's the same color or made out of the same stuff as the rest of the bank. You know how fancy banks will sometimes have like the name or something chiseled into the actual stone, so it's the same color as the rest of the bank. It's kind of hard to see, but I feel like that's part of the aesthetic. I purposely put the dark bluish gray plate behind the letters just to help make them pop a little bit more, because I felt like if they were on a light bluish gray base, it'd be hard to see the different shapes. So now the whole thing's much easier to see, I think. But yeah, progress is booming. I had a much better week this week than I did last week, and I'm setting myself up to get over to the Galactic Senate Building section sooner rather than later. All that being said, let's figure out what's going down next week. That is what a good Coruscant update looks like. A lot of progress. Felt like it was a high energy, felt like it was pretty entertaining, and I was able to fulfill the claim of getting the interior done. I just got done building and putting in that single person chair I was talking about. So next week, the final update for the year 2022. I feel like I should do something big in that update. So I'm going to be doing some work on the exterior of the bank walls, trying to get them ready for the interior, as well as finishing the first side of the entertainment complex. I finished out the bank, now let's do it for the entertainment complex. And if I have time, if I am able, I think it's time to start the third and final section of the mock, which holds the Galactic Senate Building. So a lot of good stuff planned for the end of the year. Don't forget to let me know what you thought about this update down below in the comments, and I'll catch you next time. But until then, happy building.